A community lives without war, pain, suffering, or choice.
Our people chose to do away with emotions. Those morning injections take them away.
Jonas is chosen to learn from an older man the truth about the real world.
If any of this proves too much for you, tell me immediately.
What he discovers will change everything he has ever known in The Giver.
Hi, I'm Zoriana, and I'm here with Scott and Aaron, and today we're going to review The Giver, directed by Philip Noyce. Aaron, you read the Lois Lowry book when you were in middle school. How does it hold up from book to big screen?
I think it went pretty well. There are definitely changes in the actual story itself, but the thing that stuck with me the most is the feeling that I got when I read the book 13 years ago or however long ago it was still there when watching the movie. Sure, it's slow, but I still enjoyed the film a lot. It really just, I enjoyed it. It affected me emotionally.
Well, I get that you have a connection to it because you read the book, but my feeling is that the movie should stand on its own. You should not have to read a book to embrace the movie.
I agree.
And I want to go and be surprised by what I'm seeing, and I wasn't surprised by anything here except at how dull it was for the first two-thirds of the film. It was a lot of talk and nothing really happened.
That's what the story is, a lot of talk. It's
I agree with the dullness in the beginning, but I think it was more expectation-wise. The commercials made it seem like it was going to be full of action. I was expecting, maybe you too were expecting something bigger, something more along the lines of Hunger Games or Divergent. Like I expected a dynamic character like Katniss to just walk in, prepared to fight and restore this world to what it was supposed to be.
Totally
and there wasn't any of that.
It felt like those things, and I did not, this come from someone who did not read the book. It felt like all of those things, Hunger Games, Divergent,
well, it looks like
also Pleasantville and Logan's Run and Oblivion. I was watching this movie thinking about other movies that I liked much, much better. I felt like The Giver was an ambitious movie that fell short.
I'm cutting the movie some slack, not because I read the book, because I haven't, but because the message, I think, is so important to our youth, that we should strive for individuality, that we should strive to be different and unique, and we should strive, most importantly, to feel, whether it's a bad feeling or a positive feeling, is so important.
I can tell why you've been acting this way. Your injection levels are extremely low. I can correct this, and then we will address what's happened.
I know that there's something more.
Fiona.
Something missing from our lives. No, not missing. Something that has been stolen from me and from you.
The actors are so uninspired. I mean, none of the kids were interesting. I mean, maybe that's where the boredom comes from, because none of them jumped out at me.
But that's how they act. That's who they are because of the rules imposed by their society. They're supposed to use precise language, and they're not emotional because their emotions are taken away.
So you're saying that it's the storyline that made these actors stiff and reined in?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the world that they were in. I mean, Brenton Thwaites has the most emotion out of anybody. He's still not amazing.
I actually thought he was okay.
He was
of course,
good,
he's having a great summer because he was just in Maleficent with Angelina Jolie, which made over $700 million worldwide. But I thought he was very good, and I thought he was good. I didn't care for anyone else in the film.
I like Jeff
didn't even care for Jeff Bridges, and I didn't care for Meryl Streep. You know, they play the elders who are controlling the society.
I think that Meryl Streep and Jeff Bridges were both good. I mean, they're the most talented actors in this film.
Bunch, but the two main roles are obviously the one played by Brendan Thwaites and the Giver himself, Jeff Bridges.
But
who owned the rights to the movie,
Right.
too. That's the interesting thing, is Jeff Bridges owned the rights to this book, and he's one of the producers of the film.
And he wanted his father to play the Giver.
Yeah.
And it took 20 years. Of course, his father passed away. So for him to play the role that his father was going to do, obviously very, very cool. That's actually the best thing about this movie, is that he's playing the role that he intended for his father.
Closer. Closer. There is no way for me to prepare you for what I'm going to do now. You can take comfort in knowing you are completely helpless.
Having someone like Philip Noyce, who is capable, whether it's Clear and Present Danger and all those big movies he made in the 90s.
Patriot Games. He also did. He also did The Quiet American, one of my favorite films of the early.
Rabbit Proof Fence, one of mine.
Was
so
fantastic.
he kind of took both of his worlds of the big movies and the character ones and blended them together in this.
Yep.
And I think the film succeeds largely because of Philip Noyce.
I think that Philip Noyce is part of it. I think that his cinematographer, Ross Emery, is the main reason why this movie is so good, because the visual style of the film, I think, definitely aids its message. I mean,
yes. There are like 2 or 3 more books in this.
No, please say no. There are?
Yeah, well, there's 3 more that are companion
Well,
books,
I interviewed Philip Noyce this morning. He considers them part of a thing, and if this movie does well, he's going to continue on.
This is an ambitious movie that I admired more than I liked. The Giver should have been called The Taker because it's 2 hours of my life I will never get back. Skip it.
Wow.
The Giver is a very elegant film, and it made me feel the way that I felt when I read the book when I was younger. And it's a nice break from summer blockbusters, so I say see it.
Despite The Giver's uninspired cast, the message is a beautiful one. See it.
Well, that's 2 full tickets, which is a stream it for The Giver. Cheers.
Cheers. To The Taker.
And today we're going to review The Giver, based on Lori Lowery.